The world is filled with a lot of mysteries. Some of them are pretty explainable and solved, but others are very strange, unexplainable and downright horrifying. In this video we will take a look at 5 famous mysteries that still remain unsolved. The Dyatlov Pass incident. On the first night of February 1959, a group of 9 expeditioners mysteriously died in the mountains in Russia. That night the group had set up their camp on a slope on Mount Kolat to eat and prepare for a night of good sleep. However, something horrible happened because none of the expedition members ever came back. On February 26, their abandoned tent was found completely torn from the inside. In the surroundings, one could distinguish the footprints of the group. Some wore socks, others wore one shoe only, and others were downright barefoot. The tracks led to a wooded area very close. This is where the first 2 bodies were found without shoes, wearing only underwear. Their death looked like hypothermia. However, after examining the 9 bodies, 7 others were found over the following months. The hypothermia theory was no longer valid because one of the bodies had received a severe blow, another had a 3rd-degree burns, and other victim had vomited some blood. Also, one corpse was found without a tongue and clothes that were radioactive. Theories were quickly piling up, from KGB intervention to drug overdose and the Russian version of Yeti. None of these theories were ever proven. A new theory suggests that there are winds going around Mount Kolat. Those winds created a Kármán vortex street, which can produce sound waves unnoticeable by human ear. This phenomenon can cause nausea, panic, a feeling of dread, great nervousness, difficult breathing and faster heart rate. After all, the events were consequence of an overwhelming force, which can only be described as supernatural. Who was D.B. Cooper? On November 24, 1971, a man who introduced himself as Dan Cooper embarked as a passenger on Northwest Flight 305 Airlines from Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington, a simple 30-minute flight. He was described by other passengers as a man in his mid-40s, wearing a dark jacket, black tie, and a pressed white shirt. He sat on his seat, lit a cigarette, and politely ordered a bourbon and a soda, paying in cash. Shortly after takeoff, he gave a handwritten note to a 23-year-old flight attendant who completely ignored it, believing it to be the passenger's phone number. Then in a deep voice Cooper said to her, quote-unquote, "Miss, you better look at that note because I have a bomb." Dan Cooper demanded $200,000, which is close to $1 million today, 4 parachutes, and a truck of gasoline at Seattle Airport to quickly refill the plane when it lands there. After landing at 5:40 p.m., he was given a bag containing the money and 4 parachutes, ordering the passengers and the 2 flight attendants to leave the plane before heading to Mexico. Dan Cooper jumped out of the airplane somewhere over Nevada, only to never be seen again. His parachute was never found either. In 1980, a young boy on a vacation with his family in Oregon discovered several packages of the money given to Dan Cooper identified by the serial numbers. The whole area was searched without leaving a rock unturned, but nothing else was ever found. The FBI finally gave up and decided to close the case in 2016 after 45 years. Mary Celeste. The ghost ship. On December 4, 1872, a ship in the colors of England and the United States, the Mary Celeste, was found adrift in the Atlantic, not a single crew member on board. Yet, all seemed functional on the boat and the freighter was intact except for a used lifeboat. But why? We'll probably never know. None of its sailors was ever seen again. In November 1872, the Mary Celeste left port from New York to Genoa, Italy. On board were Captain Benjamin Briggs and 7 crew members, including his wife and their 2-year-old girl. The ship was carrying enough provisions to keep them alive for 6 months. They even found a sewing machine and a piano. Analysts agree that the complete abandonment of vessel in perfect seaworthiness requires a dramatic event. However, the last entry in the Mary Celeste's register refers to nothing unusual and everything was in order on board. In the years that followed, new theories emerged. Theories suggested things like pirates, or an attack from a giant octopus, that they called a sea monster. Some scientists suggest that the alcohol vapors on board could have caused an explosion. This explosion would have left no trace of fire but would probably cause panic among the crew, which forced them to evacuate the vessel. The Area 51 mystery. The famous Zone 51 or Area 51 is in fact a United States military base located in southern Nevada, whose existence was not confirmed until 2013 when the CIA had to respond to a 2005 query under the Freedom of Information Act. According to historical documents, the place was used for the development and testing of aircraft and experimental weapons. Public satellite images, like they offered on Google Maps, do not give any more details. Even individuals having permission to go to Area 51 are conducted by a Las Vegas airline named Janet. The mystery surrounding Area 51 has resulted in rumors about the government using the site to study crashed spaceships. Other theories include research of time travel, teleportation, and development of weather-controlling device. Regardless of these theories being true or not, Area 51 is a mysterious site where people are not allowed to go. The site is heavily guarded and you are probably going to get shot if you go too close. The disappearance of Flight 370 from Malaysian Airlines. While flying over China on March 8, 2014, the Boeing 777 carrying 239 passengers and crew members disappeared without a trace. International efforts to find it were the most massive investigation in the history of aviation. Still, they only yielded about 20 pieces of debris. The Prime Minister of Malaysia, where the plane came from, declined any comment except to mention that the plane had vanished over the Indian Ocean. The lack of response has led to many conspiracy theories. According to Professor Cass Sunstein from Harvard University, it is a natural reaction to horrific situations and catastrophes. Among the conspiracy theories stated was a hijacking, American intervention, suicide of a crew member, a fire, a vertical plunge into the ocean, a meteorite impact, and a classic removal by aliens. After 3 years in spending of $160 million in search costs in thousands of square kilometers of ocean, the disappearance of Flight 370 and the 239 people on board remains a mystery.